It's
Yeah.
episode 6. That's insane. I don't know how we got there, but we did. I always forget what episode is. I'm like, is it 32? Is it
It'll
58?
get there.
We'll get there! Yeah! Hopefully, we have Teddy Cosmo here. That's exciting. You're like our second guest. How does that feel?
It feels awesome. I've been following y'all since you started. So like when I reached out and was like, "Hey, can I be on the show?" I didn't know what to expect, but I was just really happy that you guys wanted to have me on.
Yay! We're excited for you to be here. Like, for real.
Yeah.
I like followed you, I think, for like a year or two. I was like, this guy seems cool. And then you asked to be on the podcast, and I was like, damn.
Like,
That's so
shit got real. We're like, wow, people can see us. People can notice us.
And then we met you, and it was such a vibe.
It
Yes.
was a vibe. That was such a fun little phone call we had.
So, Teddy, what are your pronouns? Just so, like, we're all on the same page.
Yeah, so like I like all of them. And there's probably no way in hell my parents are gonna watch this. So we're gonna vibe with he, they today.
Yeah,
Oh,
valid. That's exciting.
Yeah. I mean, like if they don't know, like they're obviously not looking at my posts very frequently. So I don't
yeah.
know. But yeah, he they is chill or any of them. I just, it varies day to day. It's very fluid for me. So
Yeah, I'm she, they, and I also feel like kind of the same way.
hell
Like, just
yeah.
depends on the day. Like, you know.
Yeah, it really like who knows, I really don't know
hmm
until I decide what I'm wearing for the day.
Yeah, that's
I
another
get
big.
so much anxiety like packing outfits for stuff because I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel. So
Hmm.
how do I
hmm
and then I overdo it and then I have too many outfits.
They have extras
True.
just in case though.
Yeah.
hmm
That's
Because I
really good.
hate if I pack like a more masculine outfit, but then I'm feeling more feminine, and then it's like, well, now what do I do?
Exactly. I I feel like when I had long hair, um, most of my outfits could go more feminine, just depending on how I styled my hair. Or if
Yeah.
I did like a ponytail instead of a bun, but like or like I would call it princess hair. It was like with the little swoop and then the bun in the back. That was fun. Very hard for my dexterity, but very enjoyable.
That's fun.
Bella's hair
Hmm.
is slaying today. I don't know if
Hell
you.
Thank
yeah.
you. I haven't watched it in so long, but we're here.
Sometimes that's better though. Like,
But it's true. It's true.
And
Sometimes,
sometimes eating is just so much energy.
yeah, it's true.
hmm
Like, I don't know.
And like, don't even get me started on conditioner. Like, I had long hair for so long, and I still have no fucking idea how to like use conditioner
Properly
properly.
conditioned.
That's
Oh,
valid. So, Teddy, you're a musician.
Yeah,
It's like me doing my little research. I'm like, oh, so you like went to Berkeley, right?
yeah.
Was that
Well,
the vibe?
yeah. Berkeley's. So technically, I'm on like Berkeley hiatus right now because
Oh,
yeah, I don't have the cash monies
that's valid.
to pay for the like the different things like that colleges when you're like taking the classes they're like, oh, you need to buy this and this. Well, especially with on like because I'm doing Berkeley's like online program. So where if I were at like the brick and mortar school, I'd have access to their fancy studios that cost like a shitload of money. Like on the online program, it's like, no, you have to use your own studio. And every once in a while, there's like stuff I just don't have. So right now I'm just kind of chilling and making stuff and just kind of vibing. And then once I have the resources to go back, then I'll go back. But yeah,
Slay to that.
yeah,
College is expensive.
it's so
Like,
expensive.
it's such like a cash grab.
I know, like, why is it so much? Like, my parents are like, well, when I went to college, I'm like, yeah, but when you went to college, you could like trade food stamps for tuition.
Yeah. I want to go
My
back to that
grandpa,
time.
my grandpa went to college for $200 a semester.
Oh man.
That's
I feel like
crazy.
even adjusted for inflation, that's like,
That's like still way less.
yeah, $200? Like, you can't even get an Xbox for $200.
Mm.
No.
Everything is just so expensive. Just like living is so expensive.
Yeah, I really don't appreciate the cost of stuff just like constantly going up and then just being disabled. Like there's other costs that like we all have to deal with that like able-bodied people don't have to deal with. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, like fuck, I got a flat tire. Okay, well that's, like $30 there. Or like if I need a
Mm-hmm.
full new tube, it's like $80 for a wheelchair tire.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a bunch of baloney, as they say.
Also, like $30 for a disabled person, especially someone who's like relying on benefits, is not the same $30 to an able-bodied person.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, well, and like once you factor in like anyone that's on like SSDI or anything like that, it's like that's the money you kind of get for that whole month, you
Like
know?
that's survival. And also like most of that goes to rent. And it's like
Exactly.
not only that, there's like rent and then like other healthcare necessities that you need for like whatever month that is. And then like also every human has like their wants. Like something that they want to get, whether that's like a
Yeah,
new shirt or
a
like
little treat,
a
like
little
something
treat.
fun.
Yeah. Like something that gives you serotonin. Like
Mm-hmm.
we should have that, right? Like
It's like
Exactly.
one week you choose like this week I'm gonna get my happy little treat, but then you have no money for groceries.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The next week you spend all your money on your medical supplies, then you don't have money to like get yourself dinner or like
Yeah. I mean, have you guys played the old like the little like medication um game of which one do I really, really need this month and which
Oh
ones can
yeah.
I go
Mm-hmm.
without? That's
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous. Like, why do we have to do that, you know?
It's crazy. Also, like my medication, like even just like my liquid version of my antidepressant that has to be put into my G tube is like 28 more dollars than the regular pill form. So like,
Of
isn't
course
that
it is.
crazy? Like
Of course it is.
the pill version is like $1.92, and then like the liquid version for like 25 days is like almost $30. It's very crazy.
That's ridiculous. It's the same medication where
It
they just gotta
is,
like melt it. Like
right?
what really goes into it?
What are you paying extra for? The like
The
solution?
microwave, motherfucker. Yeah.
Exactly. That's crazy.
Bella taught me a lot about access to medications like Zofran. If you're not
Mm-hmm.
with Zofran, it like eliminates nausea. So it's really common with like chemo patients. And these companies know when you're on chemo, you're so nauseous, you need that medication. So, of
Mm-hmm.
course, knowing that like you're going to need it, they hike up the price and they make it harder to get.
Yeah,
And
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like I think I only had that like well, I get kidney stones a lot. I'm not sure why. I
that's
pretty
valid.
much only drink water now, but like still it still happens and I'm like, okay. Um
That's not fun. Like,
no, it's
yeah,
it's probably some magic cerebral palsy thing that they yet again like forgot to mention when I was a kid, but you know. It did kick the nausea in the ass though.
that's nice. Yeah, it does. It really
that
helps. They give me such a limited supply. They're like, here's your nine, and it's only nine, not 10. It always looks like because it's like individually in little packets, and there's always one missing. Like somebody just took one out, and they're like, nope, you can only
Mhm.
get nine. This is what your
That's such
insurance said.
That's so ridiculous. So what are you supposed to only get nauseous 9 times in a month?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. I'm like, okay, and we'll talk more about my tummy issues and
Yeah.
like the issues of healthcare, especially. I think the right term is like specialty healthcare and how specialty healthcare is like so limited
Hmm.
in like people, knowledge, and like help, if that makes sense.
Also, like special having access to like specialized healthcare is like relieving.
Yeah, it is relieving.
To a person that I don't have to explain myself to.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody that like knows their like shit about the conditions or situations
Yeah.
Yeah.
already.
And you don't have
Mm-hmm.
to get the like, so what's wrong with you, you know?
Like a
Mm-hmm.
whole list. Like you don't have enough time in this appointment or the next one.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's just like capitalistic healthcare is real and it like
Yeah.
really affects disabled people. Um,
Hmm.
like a lot sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I'm just now, like I'm 26. I'm just now getting like proper healthcare with specialists for cerebral palsy, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like mostly because there are two places in the country that um specialize with adults with cerebral palsy, and one of them, I'm lucky, one of them's right by my house, the other one's in
That's
like
very nice.
California.
That's
Hmm.
another thing is like adult care is so like like you definitely feel the difference of being a child and then becoming an adult. Like there's definitely a change in care, if that makes sense.
Oh
Like
yeah, you're
in
kind of cut off.
Minnesota, yeah, in Minnesota,
Oh,
like
you're
we,
a team.
yeah, bye.
Hmm.
They're like, see ya.
Bye.
Like we have a specialty hospital in Minnesota called Gillette, and like you can just tell the big difference between like Gillette Children's and then like Gillette Adult. Like they're two separate like clinics. And like
Hmm.
I don't know, this is just my personal opinion and like others can disagree with me. But I think adult hospitals should still feel like a children's hospital in a way, like with all the little characters and like
Hmm.
fun colors because like you want to feel good in the environment that you're in, you know?
There's
Even if
Yeah.
you are an adult.
like such a difference in the like attitude of the pediatric healthcare providers and the adult healthcare providers. Like the people providing healthcare for adults seem like so depressed
Yeah, they're
and
probably
like
tired and stretched thin.
anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there also should be some sort of like bridge between the two when you're disabled.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I most of my like all of my appointments that I had as a kid were all at Minnesota Epilepsy Group. So they would like provide me with like my therapy, like ADHD medication, like things that weren't even related. So it was like everything I needed you could get at this like one place. And they didn't
Mm.
prepare me for the fact that when I got older, suddenly you have to go to like 20 different doctors for like each different thing. And they're like, oh, we can't sign off on that. You have to go see this person. Like Bella was at a specialty clinic for GI, and suddenly the doctor is like, oh, yeah, once you turn 23, this service you've been using won't provide you with food formula anymore. And like no one
Uh,
had ever said that before. I was like, surprise.
so like how do you get it then? If like what do you do?
Well, she's
Thank
like, oh, we'll take it from here. Don't worry. So like that was nice. Like her being like, oh, you are almost 23, and that's the case. Like I'll just take it over. So like that felt nice, but also like that's the specialty GI, and I had to fight to get an appointment in August. Like the most like recent one, if I didn't like try to fight to get that appointment, would have been like in September. And I'm just like, I have so
Oh my
many
God.
issues, kids.
and you
Like
made an appointment back in like July.
yeah, she was like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's really far in advance. And I'm just like, it's because there's such limited specialty. Like,
right. Right, like my appointment for my specialist, it's like I started a new medication and
Mm-hmm.
that medication caused me to sleep a lot, and I didn't really think that was going to be an issue, so I overslept the one appointment, and then I had to reschedule, and now, even though I was supposed to have an appointment last month, I don't get to go until October, like the end of October, and it's like it's probably because there's only like two of these places in the whole country.
Did you
In the
get charged?
country? Holy cow.
Did I get charged? Originally, yes, but I was on the phone for a very long time, and I was like, "No, dude, I can't. I have no money. Like, there's
That
nothing you can try and charge it, but it's not. There's no money there for it. So,
like explains my whole like SSDI. Like, oh, you can try to charge me, but there's not gonna be anything in there. Like
yeah, there's
when
nothing there.
they send you the thing in the mail where they're like, oh, we have to check your assets to like make sure that you're not over the amount. Because if you are, then we're gonna take your little benefits away. You're not gonna have your PCAs. You're not gonna have the caddy waiver. And so then you gotta be like, here's all my personal info. So then they check, they go in there and they look through it and they're like, oh, you're good. You have $0 anyway. And I'm like, well,
Yep,
yeah, what were you thinking? Like I was racking up on like, I don't even know, trillions of dollars if I did,
yep. You just real quick gotta like Venmo somebody
right?
else's account or something. Like,
Yeah, it's for real. Like, can you hold this? They're
yeah,
coming for me. Like,
right. Like for what? Like a lot of us, I feel like so like right now I'm in the process of like waiting, the months and months long wait to see if I even get approved. Um, but like I feel like for me it's like ideally I would like to figure out a situation where I was making enough money and didn't need it. However, there's always that chance that like something might happen and then like
right?
I might not be able to. So like keeping those bennies is
Those
so
Benny.
vital. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like part of the process for so many things is like keeping your hopes as low as possible and like expecting the worst and like preparing yourself to have to like fight people on shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah. 100%. And like I'm lucky that like I grew up in a family with very little money and like I had five siblings or have five siblings. And also then like when I first started living on my own, also had very, very little money. So I'm used to it, which is good. But it's one of those things where like every single time I go somewhere to like get the next like thing checked off, whether it be like the welfare office or the DMV or to try and get accessoride, there's always
There's
something.
always something.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Like as soon as you feel like you get stability, something happens again.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Exactly.
It's like,
Especially when you're like physically disabled.
oh yeah. Or like when they're
Yeah,
like, oh, like, sorry, you went over your allotted PCA hours. We're not gonna like backtrack and pay your caregivers for that time that you went over. But we're not gonna tell you until like after that happens, a couple months after. And then you're just kind of like scrambling, like, how do I pay those people? And now it's like these things are true stories
you
that
should
people
get
go
like,
through.
yeah, like maybe we can like do like a little coupon book like when we're little and get it for like our parents, like I will clean my room, like I will give you money eventually, but
Yeah.
not right now.
Yep. Like, I'm sorry. The government screwed me over.
Well, you gotta get on the phone with Timmy, you know?
Timmy, yeah, Tim Walls.
What's their
Yeah.
little like disability thing that they did? What was that? Didn't they like
They had like one, sorry, this is gonna sound cynical, but I think they had like one disabled person um like added to their team or something. I'm not like super
Yeah,
informed on it, but
but
yeah,
this is actually really funny because I found this out today. So they like hire? Does that person get paid? for that,
Huh?
or is that like charity work?
I hope so, because their campaigns raised like $500 million
Yeah, so
since
that
they did
person
the old
better
They
be
script.
getting
better
money.
heck.
And if you're not, blink twice and we'll try to help you.
Right, right.
But
Call into
like
the phone line.
they hired that person. I don't know her actual name. Ash, maybe can you find the person's name so we can like give them a proper shout out?
Yeah.
But I don't think they were at the little Democratic convention. Like
No,
there was no disability rep there.
I saw
They're-
nothing for disability at the convention. I was
I'm
like,
like, how do you hire a new little cabinet? No, I don't
My
even know
mom,
if that's considered a cabinet.
my mom sent me a screenshot of the one disabled person that was at the Democratic National Convention. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, who's
It was
that?
slay.
this little like interabled couple being like,
That's Slay.
Kamala, I hope
Kamala.
so. My mom
Yeah.
is such a liberal. She's like, Beyonce was there.
That's so funny.
Slay.
I have a progressive dad and a very conservative mom. Um,
Oh,
How's
but
that
not
work?
it's really interesting, but it's like she's gotten more conservative and my dad's gotten more progressive, and so it's extra interesting. Um, but yeah, and like luckily like on social issues, my mom's not really that like super conservative, like, you know. Um, but I think a lot of that has to do with like half of her kids are very progressive and then the other half of her kids are very conservative. So it really like we just kind of did a pretty even split there. But like for me, I'm by far probably the like most far left or whatever of all of them. And I always say like when talking to my family or my dad about it, I'm like, well, you know, get disabled and then you'll probably get a lot more be a lot more progressive, because those are the things that disabled people rely on, like those programs and stuff.
That's why I'm always like a little bit shocked when there's like a disabled conservative, especially like when they were born with the disability.
Yeah.
And then
mm,
that's a
It's
that's
goofy.
yeah. I'm like, explain that.
How do we get here? Yeah, I don't
true.
know. I mean, like people can like be how they want to be and think what they want to think and stuff, but like if you really boil it all down, it's like, do you want to like help people or like let people fend for themselves? And that's like kind of the, you know, and it's like everyone will answer, oh, well, yeah, I like helping people. Well, then it's like, okay, well, then vote for the things that actually will.
I hate this idea of like what strength is. I think like the how a lot of Americans see strength as like independence and not asking for help and like I can do it myself and like forgetting about like communal care. And I find that a lot of disabled conservatives are like have that idea of, like I'm strong. I don't need to like ask for help.
Yeah, that whole
It's
like,
like you should. That's like how we survive as human beings, is like through community.
yeah, it's like that whole pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality. But then it's like, bro, my like Achilles tendons got botched in an operation. I can't really put boots on. So like, what am I pulling myself up from? I need
Somebody
somebody else's bootstraps. Gotta
I
get those government boots.
I feel I colonization has just like fucked so many people in so many ways and like gotten rid of that notion of like communal care and like asking for help, and we would all be happier if we just held hands.
Yeah, for real.
That's
And like
true.
I'm lucky that like living in New York, especially my neighborhood, because I'm in Washington Heights, so it's like a super close-knit neighborhood. Um, so like, you know, if somebody needs butter or whatever, chances are you can like go to the bodega and be like, "Hey, do you have like a little like tablespoon or whatever of butter?" And they'll just like put it in a cup and like give it to you.
That's
Or
nice.
like, yeah, but like other places, like other cities that I've been to and like other city like I lived in Pittsburgh for a while, like I didn't feel that sense of community. So it's nice to have it here in New York. And there's a lot of wheelchair users here in New York too, which is
That's
why they
cool.
should fix the subway.
You say somebody should fix the subway?
Yeah, like just the elevators and stuff, they're always going
Uh,
down. Like
yeah.
I've crawled up and down subway steps too many times.
And it smells
Oh.
like piss in the elevator.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Big time piss. Like
Mm-hmm.
100%.
That's a
Big.
very common theme. It smelled like that in San Francisco, and it also smells like that in elevators here.
Yo.
Yeah, I think well a lot of New York smells like piss too, so you get kind of like desensitized to it after a while, but like there is that strange moment in like the subway elevator, like maybe any time past like 11:30 p.m. where it's like, is that piss or is that cleaner? And you don't really get to like know until you're like stuck in there for a minute, with a bunch of
Yeah,
other people that are also just trying to
Yeah.
get home.
that's funny. One time I found shit in the elevator.
Mm.
Wasn't that nice? I was like, oh, well,
I hope you didn't roll in it because
oh
that's
gosh, no, no,
terrifying.
no. I knew what that was right away, and I was like, nope, I'm not going over there. Like,
Yeah. There was like a big like pile of shit on these steps by our apartment, like a door or two down,
oh
and
my gosh,
we called it the poop stoop for a while.
that's so
Uh,
funny.
because it took like 2 days for it to get cleaned up, but yeah, but that's what happens when people don't take care of homeless folks or build enough
It's
shelters or
it's very true. Like,
That's something that we saw in San Francisco that I really liked. I don't know how common it is around the city, but we saw a couple like public bathrooms that were big and had bars just like on the street. And not like
oh,
porta potty. It was like a structure,
oh wow.
small little structure. And I was like, that's dope. It would be nice if we had more of them.
I feel like
mm-hmm.
that should be kind of everywhere. Like there should be out outside, well, not outside, but like, non-business connected public restrooms that are accessible.
Mm-hmm. I just think it's
Fact,
so crazy that I mean I also kind of get it, but like we have to like, like buy something in order to like use the
that's
bathroom.
I'm gonna say
It's
that
so
is
like kind of
bullshit.
irritating.
Hmm. Yeah, I always like if I'm ever trying to find a bathroom in like a public space, it for me it's always like out of dire necessity because like I don't like that gamble of is my chair gonna fit? I
Oh
can do
yeah.
without grab bars. Like I'm fortunate that if I don't have grab bars and I can fit into it, I can just kind of do a little bit of a shimmy and like get there. But like I don't like not knowing and then when they're like, "Hey, actually you have to buy a coffee first." I'm like, "Mm."
Like
And then
why?
The money thing,
yeah,
all connected.
Sometimes I just want to print this card. It's laminated, it's pink, it's sparkly, it's kind of, it's kind of cunty. It says
hmm,
a disabled card. And I just want to like give it to somebody and just see what they do,
yeah,
you know? Like if somebody says no to me, like I'm just gonna be like, here you go. And then
just
just see
like
their thought process.
yeah, let
Like,
them scramble for a little bit.
yeah,
Oh,
like oh God, like if they're like, no, you can't use this bathroom, you even bought something, I'm just gonna like hand it to them. Just give them a couple seconds to process, and then I'm just
Just
gonna see what happens.
just put like a fancy like government looking seal on it.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's funny.
who's gonna argue with it if it has like the
Right?
presidential seal or whatever on it?
Yeah, Kamala, if she
Yeah,
becomes president.
just put
And
her
on
face
the
to like
back,
the AI of
a
her
lot of
face.
coconut
Yeah.
tree.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. She's like, did you follow the coconut tree? It's just her. It's like a little meme card.
Yep, and the coconut has like the little wheelchair disability logo engraved on it, and then it's like,
Yes, exactly. I'm like, do you think I have money for a little coffee? I would get a
right,
little coffee if I could, if I had the money
yeah,
for it.
right. Like,
Nice. Coffee.
can I
Yeah,
put
like
that
I
on EBT?
yeah.
Like,
I was like, I want a
damn,
little treat. If I had money for a little treat, I'd get a little treat.
We were
I I
low
love coffee too.
Oh,
rant
same.
ranting the other day about how like toilet accommodations are mostly targeted towards like an able-bodied person that just got old and needs a little help. But not
Yeah,
like different shaped bodies or like different needs. It's like this is for the senior citizens.
right.
And
I
Mm-hmm.
that's
mean,
it.
it's kind of like, hey, you were able-bodied long enough that we're gonna make it a little bit easier on
Yeah.
you now.
It's like your bath chair. You want to talk about your bath chair?
Ooh, that chair.
Sometimes I feel like a senior citizen, and I'm only 22. That should
I feel
explain
that.
the disability experience in this country. Like I feel like a senior citizen, but I'm actually 22 because
And
everything
yet,
they make is just for senior citizens. Like,
right, but we get treated like we're like 10.
yeah, that's the fucked part. Okay, that's wrong.
Yeah, I would
How does
not
that
have a
work?
beard. I wouldn't have a beard if it didn't mean that less people gave me like the puppy dog
Yeah,
vibes.
that's why I like having a tattoo. I'm like, oh, you
Yeah.
think I'm 10? Uh-huh, look at my fairy. Look at
Right.
my little fairy. Like,
Yeah, I love tattoos too, and I used to do a bunch of like stick and poke ones. So like about half of mine are stick and poke, and I thought that that would stop it, but I don't know. It hasn't.
that's
I feel
valid.
like the first thing a person sees is like a mobility aid. Like the first thing, not like the
hmm
outfit or like what you did with your hair. They see
Hmm.
hmm
mobility aid, and that's like all they can see.
Right.
I should
It's
just get
like,
a
look at
tattoo
my
of my
necklace.
mobility aid. I'm a big
There
fan.
you go.
I got a little bath chair tattoo. My
I love
little
Mhm.
my little bath chair that I hate. It's literally 90 degrees. It was made for like probably a 72-year-old in like a little assistive living home. And it goes up. So it like goes up in the bath, it raises, so it's like easier for somebody to transfer me. But it's like at a 90-degree angle. I'm like with
Mhm.
no side railings. Mind you,
Oh.
my body's like a fish. Like it doesn't bend. Like it doesn't like to
Right.
bend in that position.
I mean,
But
that's like straight up to like you're like you have to have like the best posture to even sit in
yeah,
that.
I'm
so
like I have scoliosis.
the
Like
chair
Same.
back like a little bit, like the tiniest bit. But if you want the chair to go up, like if you want to raise it, it has to be 90 degrees. So if you want to get raised out of the tub, you have to like fold yourself into the like worst possible.
Oh,
we haven't even tried it because I'm like my hip's gonna get pulled out all the way if I
yeah.
try doing that.
So right now my bathroom is like not accessible at all. Like there's
Oh yeah.
I don't have grab bars because the insurance I was on when they tried to get it through rejected them. They also rejected the shower chair. So I have to crawl in and out of the bathrooms for like every time I have to use the bathroom at my place, but then also to get in and out of the shower, I have to like hop up onto the tub and then hop down. Yeah. And it's like one of these days I'm gonna slip and it's gonna suck really bad.
Our friend Taylor, who's in
That'd
a
be really
wheelchair
unfortunate.
problem. Taylor Bella.
What?
Remember Taylor,
Yeah.
a friend in a wheelchair? So she was living on university campus and she asked for a room with an accessible shower. That was the main thing she wanted.
Yeah.
They gave her a room with a handicap button to open the door and a very inaccessible bathroom. And she's like, the whole point why I asked for this room was so that I could like just roll into the bath.
Yeah,
You've given me something that I didn't even ask for.
right. I don't need the button, dude.
I need the shower. And
Right. The buttons just kind of like for show half the time because they don't work half the time anyway.
yeah,
Ugh.
it's like, what's the point in getting into my apartment if I can't even take a bath in it?
Right? Like the rest of my apartment, I'm pretty lucky. Like it's very spacious. Um, so that is good. Like I was able to kind of lay out the furniture and all that, but like that bathroom is so annoying. We were able to uh fight on a technicality. When they were showing us the apartment, they were like, "Oh yeah, it has a washer and dryer." And then we moved in and it didn't, and I was like, "Hey, you said you had a washer and dryer." And they were like, "Oh yeah, that was the other unit." And I was like, "I don't care. You told me this one does." And then eventually we got it after 3 months. But
Yeah, but
that
also
changes everything.
before I forget, what do you have a favorite tattoo?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if it'll like come through. Maybe it'll. I don't. I can't really. I'll show you this one. There we go. The fox.
That's cute. Did you draw that?
Thanks. No, it was like a charity thing where they were doing flashes for $50 and then all the proceeds went to I forget. It was like some homelessness like drive. It was either that one of them was a homelessness drive and then the other one that was the the alien guy next to the fox. That was another charity flash one, and that one was for like uh, bail funds, so that people that shouldn't be just chilling in jail for no reason can get out. But so probably those two.
I see your mouth moving, but I can't hear you. Is
Oh
your
shit.
Oh, Bella's mic.
Ah.
We can't hear you, bestie.
Oh yeah, Bella. Where'd you go?
Hey, Steven,
Yeah.
can you help Bella with her mic?
Yes.
Thanks. Oh yeah, I
Thanks,
don't.
Steven.
Can you hear me
Are
now?
you guys roomies? Yes.
Yeah, it's like the best thing ever.
That's awesome.
We both had like awful roommates. And like I was just like, well, what if we like lived together? Because we lived in the same building, but she was on the third floor and I was on the second floor. And I was like,
Mm.
you just like moved in with me. And it's just like worked out perfectly.
That's way, way cooler
Wait,
than.
wait,
I
wait.
wasn't sure because I saw different rooms, so I was like,
Yeah. I think we can hear you now.
Really? I don't know why I can't get my little mic to work.
It's
yeah, I can hear
Sound
you
kind of
now.
bad.
it's working now.
Okay, does it sound okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sweet. Yay!
Yay.
Yay! I don't know what I was saying before. I kind of lost it.
That's okay. There's plenty of time to find it.
Do you like living with them with each other? Teddy and I were talking about that.
Do I like living with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I do.
And our pets are best friends now.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's cool. We keep trying to catch it on camera when they like sniff each other, but they're kind of sly with it.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be
Uh,
affectionate, and as soon as you notice, we're gonna walk away from each other.
Yeah, they don't want you to know.
It's their secret.
they're like they
uh,
we don't want you to know that we love each other. Like,
yeah, I have three cats. And so one of them, my partner's had for like 6 years. One of them we got, well, technically like it was before we were like officially dating, but we actually went to the adoption place together as like a little date.
That's
S-
really gay.
yeah, it was so cool. It was actually my old roommate. She has like a cat cafe in Pittsburgh. Um, and so we got the kitty. And actually we originally got we picked out her brother, but then her brother was spoken for, and then my roommate was like, but wait, there's this one and they're from the same litter. And I was like, okay. And I never met her, but then I like brought her home and she rules. Her name's Suzuha. So we have Suzuha, Lily, and Marceline. And Marcy we got once we were kind of settled in New York. So she's turning 2 here in
That's
October.
so cute. Did you say Marceline?
Yep.
Like from
Is that
Adventure
an
Time?
Adventure Time thing?
Yes.
That's so
Yep.
cute.
We love Adventure Time.
Love
I
Adventure
actually have
Time.
this poster.
Oh wow, yay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that rules.
It's a good like safe space show.
Yeah,
Yes.
I I still haven't seen all of the Distant Lands episodes yet. I'm like saving them.
My partner and I got to season 8, but we pirate everything, and then the sites that we were using to pirate it were like repeating episodes.
Oh,
And
Uh
yeah,
that starts to happen.
that was a sad day.
yeah, that see like back I don't know if Pirate Bay is like still around, but that's what I used to use. And I would have the same I was so lame. I would like pirate seasons of like Supernatural. Um
So real.
And then I gave my computer, like in high school, I gave my computer the worst virus ever just because I was
Oh,
trying to stay up like current with Supernatural and we didn't have cable.
oh,
I killed my laptop in high school because like the viruses just got so bad.
that's so funny. That's how I am with downloading Sims content. I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
hell yeah.
well, like 50, 100 different outfits. I might be giving my little laptop so many bugs. Also, as a graphic designer too, I just like download like design assets and I'm like, who knows what those are connected to. So my poor little laptop is just
Oh man. I mean
huffing.
I yeah, I had like a MacBook Air a way back and I tried to like run literally just like I don't even remember what game it was, but like every time I would try to like run Steam on it, which like looking back, it's like of course that would happen, but like it would
Yeah.
just freeze and crash.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
I used to have Steam on the laptop I have now, but it just slowed down everything so bad that I had to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need
Now I
like a gaming laptop if you want it to.
Yeah, exactly. And like now with like the video game stuff that I'm like working on, I kind of had to get one so that I could like continue working on it. So that's been nice to actually have like a computer that doesn't like destroy itself every time I try to do anything.
Very demure, very mindful.
Exactly.
You want to talk about your video game, Teddy? That
Oh
you're
yeah.
thinking of? It's so cool, everyone. Like,
Been telling people about it.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh.
Like
That's
it's so
awesome.
cool.
it's so cool.
That's so nice of you guys to already be like spreading the word, especially with this. Like, any chance I get to, get the hype up a little bit for
Mhm.
it, I'll take it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like basically a combo of Tony Hawk and Guitar Hero. And so you just kind of get to like skate around. It's like a WCMX game, sort of, except the tricks aren't it's not incredibly realistic. I mean, just like Tony Hawk's not incredibly realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but without giving too many spoilers, even though you guys know, the general vibe is that I have to get a new wheelchair and my insurance companies won't cover it. So I have to figure out like you know, a workaround for that, and that leads to me having to skate around, and like do all sorts of things to make sure that I can get that money. And it's very there's gonna be a lot of little I guess like lore Easter eggs of stuff. Yeah, I'm really excited. It's been a lot of work, and it all just kind of like started because I was like shit posting. Um but and I was like, "Wait, my old roommate is a game designer. What if we team up?"
Yeah.
And he's so funny. He has no social media, and like I think I might have like one picture of him. So there's not really much like evidence that he actually exists in real life, but he said that I was allowed to make a character of him in the game that is actually like his real face and everything. So that'll be like the only evidence of his existence. But he said that the stipulation is that he has to be wearing a kigurumi. Um,
Oh,
and he can't be wearing regular clothes, so he has to be wearing like a kigurumi, but unless I can find one that's not like licensed by some anime or something, and just or make my own, then that's going to be a little tricky. So that's the next task, I guess, is figuring out how the hell I'm going to dress this guy up.
that's so fun. You learned coding, right?
Yeah, he's more of like, you know, the main coding guy, and then I'm just kind of like I can do some coding, and I'm getting better at it, but it definitely has hiccups. I definitely have handled like all the 3D modeling is what I've been sort of focusing on mostly because he that's not something that he really like knew how to do. And then I was like, well, if you're already like really focused on the coding stuff, like I can learn how to do that. So that's been fun, but I'm out of the free trial
Uh-oh,
for the software, so I
that's
gotta
crazy.
yeah, I gotta like figure that out, and or maybe potentially see if I can maybe not pirate it in Minecraft at all, but we'll see what happens.
Is
So
it
Yeah.
is it like a 3D software? Is that what
yeah,
it is?
yeah, it's called Character Creator.
Okay.
And then they have another one for cutscenes, which is called iClone.
Oh.
Um, but if you need both of them, which I do, it's like 700
Oh my
fucking
gosh.
dollars.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so we're debating on like doing a Kickstarter. But like I don't know, I kind of feel weird about crowdsourcing just because I've had to do it a couple times for wheelchairs already, so it
Yeah.
feels weird to do it for art related activities, you
They should
know?
make like disabled creative grants. Like
They
those
sh
probably do exist, but there should be like more of those.
there should be, and there should also just be like maybe a subscription based model for that software instead of
Yeah,
having to buy it outright.
exactly. Because like soon I'm gonna be kicked off of my whole like Adobe plan or like
Yeah.
school, and that's like basically $700 a month for like the whole Creative Cloud. And I'm just like, I was told by one disabled graphic designer that like Adobe does like little discounts for disabled creatives. And like I looked it up and I guess they don't do that anymore. And I'm just like,
Well, it's because
uh,
we stopped existing, so they
right?
stopped offering it.
We stopped creating.
Have
Yeah.
you seen the Instagram for the squeaky wheel?
No.
Oh, they're so funny.
Like satire news. And it's like in shocking news, woman who owns coffee shop up staircase like never has disabled customers. And she says she hasn't thought to change it because she's never had a disabled customer.
Bro, yeah, exactly. Like, of course. Can you forward that in the little group chat?
Yes, I'll send it.
Mhm.
last time we talked, when you were talking about how your friend was teaching you coding, it reminded me of how Bella is teaching me graphic designing for Cryptard. That's
Oh,
like
hell yeah.
how to make memes. Like she's actually a really good teacher. And
That's
that
awesome.
we have the Adobe expiration. And I was like, damn, that's so sad. Like
It's just like
everything.
so hard to find a job as a disabled person.
Oh
Like
my
period.
God.
Like
Eh, Yeah, I mean, who needs them?
we do,
I
unfortunately,
know.
capitalistic world. Like
Right. Like, but it's one of those things where it's like everything is so s specific in the application process and the interview process and all that to like weed out disabled applicants. And if there's an able-bodied person listening right now that's like, I'm an employer and that's not true. Yeah, it is. I've gone to job app or interviews where then I get there and then they realize I'm in a wheelchair and then they tell me to go home. Um,
that's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, that's happened like 3 or 4 times. Um,
Like a company will hire a disabled person, but it's almost like they think they can hire someone with a disability without their disability disabling them.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like all of my friends who have are disabled and have gotten hired by companies, they do not want to accommodate jack shit.
no, well, so when I worked at the uh let's just say the big bank um that I worked for 5 years, there was a period of time where I needed a reasonable accommodation at the request of my doctor.
Mhm.
And they've said that the way that that process works is that I would have to leave my post, like leave my like position, not get paid, and then go through application processes for different positions that
What?
would be within the guidelines. Right. And then if I didn't get one, I think it was within 60 days. It was either 60 or 90, so lawyers don't come at me. But if I didn't get one within 60 or 90 days, I would lose my health insurance and then
What?
also be like terminated. So
What? I'm sorry,
yeah.
I'm so shook right now.
No, it's
You're
fucked up.
confirming the horrors. Like
Yeah, I'm just confirming the
you're
horrors, you know.
confirming the horror that I already knew existed. But sometimes I'm just like when I hear stories like that, I'm like, damn, we really bet bleh, we can't talk. We went backwards.
We
Dead end.
really do. Yeah, I mean, like it really somebody listen. Like somebody's gotta be, we need like a disabled person in every like form of government and every form of
Healthcare.
employment and healthcare and like basically every sect of the economy and country before we're really gonna
No,
see.
literally, it's so true. Like so many aspects, I'm like, wow, I'd be so much more comfortable if like there was more disabled people in this position. Like
Yeah,
mental health resources, I think would be
yeah.
really huge.
Like I'll do it. Like I don't know, hit me up. Y'all got my Instagram.
You know something that's so frustrating is that like Bella has had people come to her who are disabled who want to work for her as a caregiver. And even though she wants to hire them, the system and the way that the caregiving structure is set up is literally built to make it so that a disabled person cannot work that job. Like someone with dwarfism wanted to do it, but it's like, okay, it would be great if we could be supplied with accommodations for that person because they would probably listen to Bella more,
Right.
a better caregiver, but we couldn't hire them because the caregiving company isn't willing to provide accommodations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, nothing like healthcare related. They don't want any disabled like anything really.
Would
Even
explain that to me. Make that make sense.
right, like it's even at the welfare office, right? All
Mhm.
the windows were high up, so I couldn't see. Um and you know,
Easy.
exactly. And it's like, it'd be there you're telling me they can't give one disabled person a government job.
Yeah,
Or
it's true. It's just like so frustrating when we're always just like kind of an afterthought. Like if you make a building, for example, like they always just kind of think at the end, like, oh, maybe we should make an elevator or maybe we should make a ramp, right? There never
yeah,
was like at the beginning, it feels like a full-on plan. Like same with like employment. It's like we kind of were added later on. We were like, oh, well,
well, in the 90s,
yeah,
fucking, I
like,
mean, we've had jobs, or well, it's like we've been here, we've been existing for
since the beginning of time.
exactly. It's not like uh disabilities just kind of came up out of nowhere.
Like, oh crap.
Like,
Disability existed before capitalism did,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
and
damn
it will
straight.
exist long after. So, I mean, like I've said to Bella before when she's applying to jobs, like literally, like being disabled is a job qualification.
Mm-hmm.
Calling doctors, managing caregivers, surviving in the world, like everything you do on a day-to-day basis is literally a job qualification.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and it gives you so much more insight.
Mm-hmm.
Like one time, uh, there was a customer, who, let's just say, the bank repoed a customer's car. That customer had their like medical devices
Mhm.
in their car, and
Mm-hmm.
it got taken to like the lot, and they were gonna say, sorry, motherfucker, sucks to suck, get some legs or whatever. um and I went over like my boss's head, and I was like, hey, you cannot do this, you gotta give them their car back. And it's like, if I didn't do that, then they probably would have just continued being the shitty corporation that they are,
Mm-hmm.
in even more of, an aggressive way. But that's like those types of situations. Those are only really situations that like folks like us would really think of. Because
Mhm.
able-bodied people, unless they have somebody that's close to them or a family member or something, that's disabled,
Yeah.
they're not gonna like think of that. And like even my partner, who is so helpful and so incredible with like accommodating and everything, um, she said to me like, I knew like a couple disabled people from like school or whatever, but like before we started talking and dating and everything, I didn't like know
Mm-hmm.
like the realities.
I think Bella and I have a habit of apologizing to each other when our disabilities get in the way of like day-to-day life. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I also find myself being like, our friendship is better because of the way that we're able to understand each other. I feel like understood and seen and loved in a way that a like abled person could never understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like there's so many more ways to love a person than like the way that able-bodied people think.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I heard like Shane Burkaw, who also has SMA, talking about how his wife actually enjoys their relationship more because like if he wants to be intimate with her, he has to say and ask for consent, I want to be intimate with you, and not, like rub her or like expect her to understand some
Mm-hmm.
cue that does not have like specific consent implied. Like
Right.
people can love and care like for people in a way that like abled people could never understand because they cannot fathom that a disabled person has something to bring some like to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And wait, is that the like the really cute couple?
Yeah,
Um,
Remy and Grubs.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We love them. They live in Minnesota too.
Oh, that rules. Have y'all met them?
No.
Haven't.
You
Uh,
should. You
You want
should.
to tell him about that nurse who met him though?
oh yeah, I like well that healthcare place, that specialty. hospital in Minnesota, like we all go there if we have like specifically a neuromuscular disease. I feel like most people go to Gillette, but a lot
Hmm.
of people know him there. Like they'll be like, "Oh yeah, we know Shane. He's so cute." And I'm like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "He is cute." Like,
They're like, oh my
Yeah,
God, I got to meet him.
yeah.
that's so cool. I um I don't know, like, so they're able to make like couples content work in a way that's like really interesting and
Mm-hmm.
like enjoyable to watch. When I first moved to New York, there was a person, and I won't put them on blast or anything, but they really, really wanted to focus on the fact that like my partner and I like the dynamic of our relationship with her being able-bodied and everything. Um, and like it wasn't like it that that type of focus didn't really work for us. Like it wasn't really something that like where we were able to like I guess talk about it in a way that was like fun or like funny or enjoyable. So I'm really like when I see like their profile, I'm like, oh hell yeah, this is what that guy wanted, but like it was not getting from us.
Yeah.
Shane is so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like the jokes that he comes up with. He's
Oh
such
yeah.
a creative person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I'm at least like on Instagram and stuff. Like I'm so glad that there is that little, our little pocket of community that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to that little pocket of community.
Right? Y'all know who you are.
Exactly. It's like very nice being able to like feel comfortable, I think, in the community that we're reaching out to. I was so worried that we were like, I don't know, gonna get some inspo porn lovers, like the able-bodied people who are like, oh my God, they're so cute.
Oh yeah. I get that all the time, but I'm glad
Really?
you guys aren't.
Yeah. I think
I
it's
feel
because,
like
I don't know.
I feel like it's coming one day,
I
like
agree. That's why I'm like, we just gotta stay so unhinged that like distaste.
Yeah. Like just like be just unapologetically yourselves the whole
Right?
time and shut down any like semblance of inspo porn that comes your way like as quick as you can. Because like what happened with me was when I first started doing disability related content, which was actually back in like 2017.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I stopped for a really long time was because of that. And what ended up happening was uh and this was cool and not cool, but like some teachers started showing like videos at school, but then I was like, well, then I have to keep it like
PG.
yeah, or even G because it was like elementary schools. And I'm like, I can't do that because that's not the reality of the disabled existence. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like if you are bringing up issues but can't show your emotion towards the issues you're bringing up, you're not going to be able to like change any minds. And I don't think like I'm necessarily trying to change minds. I'm just kind of like, at least not anymore. I was originally like, but then after like taking that hiatus, when I realized like, oh, if I go this angle, like that's what's going to happen. Now it's just like I'll post whatever, and like I do get like parents that'll be like, your song has a swear word, and I wanted to show my kid, but he's only 7 years old, and you
Like,
said
well,
fuck.
and he's gonna have to wait.
It's
It's
like,
almost
okay,
like you're an
I got
adult.
stressed out.
yeah, sorry I'm old. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Your 7 year old shouldn't be like on my page anyway. Your seven
Yeah.
year old shouldn't be on Instagram at all, dude. Like,
Yeah.
come
That's not
on.
the audience you're trying to get.
Don't get
Right.
mad at the internet for being inappropriate. Stop giving your 7-year-old like a tablet with no limits on it.
Right. Like when I was a kid, we didn't have like tablets or whatever. But I had like a leapfrog thing that had like a little comic book and you put it in and then it reads it to you.
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
like,
I
"Well,
remember those. I think.
yeah, what's wrong with those?"
Yeah.
Like maybe
PBS.
maybe I'm a boomer or whatever, but like I don't
Oh my
think
gosh.
kids
No.
need to be on that shit. Because that's what ends up happening is like parents will be like, my son or daughter is disabled and now I can't show them your stuff. I'm like,
Don't.
sorry, dude.
Yeah.
It's not for you. It's for the people in the same sort of age demographic. And if it,
Exactly.
it's like, that's why I have to put explicit on all the stuff on Spotify that has swear words. Like, that's why those rules exist.
True. That's why we have explicit on all of our podcasts.
Yeah,
Shows your
exactly.
child. I don't
Yeah.
care if they have epilepsy and SMA like us or like just any disability. It's just like if you're under the age of like 18, you probably shouldn't listen to our show. I mean, maybe,
Yeah,
maybe you could.
Like if you're
If
in
you're
high
like maybe
school.
like over 15.
I
Yeah.
feel like that, yeah. Like
But
I'm sure I have followers that are like teenagers, but that's different. It's like it's really the parents that are
yeah.
the parents of the disabled kids, because it's like,
My
come on.
Mhm.
my job during the school year is I work at a K-8 elementary and middle school. And like 9 times out of 10, when I'm really having a bad problem, it's not because of the kids themselves. It always goes back to the parents.
Yeah.
Like always. Like if
Yeah.
it is having issues, like something's going on at home.
Yeah, 100%. And like that also I think reigns true with like the general societal perception of disabled people. The reason we're still so far behind is not it can go back to each generation of parents and the
Mhm.
way that they are raising their children to like interact with disabled people and like what they're perceiving to be okay or just a kid playing around or thinking they're funny, but it's like like don't like don't blame the kid or tell the kid, oh, don't stare at them or
Yeah,
don't
like
look at
don't
Yeah.
them,
look, look, don't do that.
because that's just going to make them feel awkward as they grow older and they're not going to understand, and then they're going to have those sort of like ingrained ableist tendencies, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or like putting the disabled kids off to the side in classrooms. It like
Yeah.
in your brain to be like, oh, this group of people is separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to just like be okay with that. Because when it's normalized from such a young age, you're just like, oh, this is the way that things are.
Mhm.
Well, and I don't know if you guys had this, but like when you all were growing up, did you like not get invited to birthday parties even though you were
Yeah.
friends with the people whose birthday parties it was?
I had like a friend who lived in the building and her friends would like always come over, but her mom like never wanted me to play with her and her friends. Like she'd be
Well,
like, "Oh, she can't play right now, sorry."
you
Like,
might have run
oh.
them over though, so you can't really blame them.
Yeah,
You like
I was like, what? I was like, all we're doing is playing American Girl dolls by the pool. Like, how is it that deep? Like,
Yeah.
I actually got pretty lucky. My best friend in elementary school was also disabled.
Oh,
So it
hell
was
yeah.
like me and
nice.
her chilling.
That's
And
like
then,
how that's like you said elementary school it was?
yeah,
Okay. Sorry, my headphone cut out for a second.
it was cool. We were friends, and then her parents decided to send her to a specialized school for disabled kids,
Oh.
which is like dope, but it's very expensive and they don't do scholarships, they do grants. So it's like mostly like middle class and like upper class disabled kids. And
Oh
I
yeah.
and she had a much happier experience there because she wasn't like the only one that was different.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I actually hadn't been diagnosed with anything yet. So I was like, I know I'm different and people are treating me weird and people don't like the way I'm acting, but I don't understand why.
Right.
Like I had my first big seizure when I was 8, and all these the teacher wasn't in the classroom. It was just me and all these little kids, and they're like, "Oh my God, Ash had a heart attack."
Oh my God.
Ew.
Yeah, and I guess that's something too that like even so somebody like myself who's been diagnosed for my whole life, it's like
Yeah.
that's a different experience that has its own like struggles and sort of situations that I can sympathize with, but like
Yeah.
can't can't um can't pull like direct relatability to, because it's like uh I it was always there, the diagnoses, but then it's at the same time though it's like I'm so glad that there's more resources and more
Yeah.
education around in the medical fields of like being able to get people later diagnoses so that you're not just like fucked if you don't get one when you're a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I hate how many doctors are like scared to give a diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was very apparent my entire life, like that I had autism. Like I had to go to baby therapy to like train me to eat solid foods because I wouldn't like consume different textures. Like it was very obvious. But people were scared of like the label. People are scared to say disabled in general. But
Yeah.
it's like helpful to know like, oh, this is why this is happening. This is why I'm in pain. This is why like this is happening.
Right. Well, and it's like that's why we get things like where people are like, can you say this? Is this phrasing okay? Like, handy capable. I don't know if you guys have gotten that
Yeah.
one. Or
Oh
differently
gosh.
abled.
I think Handy Capable is so funny because it's from Deadpool. Have you seen
Is
Deadpool?
that what it is? Is
Yeah,
that
and
what
I
it's
think
from?
it's so funny for that reason. Like, I think if anybody but Deadpool like said it to me, I'd be like, that's kind of weird. But just
I'll let it
Deadpool,
pass with
I'll let it
Deadpool.
pass with Deadpool. Like,
Mm-hmm. 100%. I like the differently abled because it's like, no motherfucker, I'm not differently abled. I just
yeah,
can't do the same shit you can. And
yeah,
that's,
it's just like it's not that deep. Like, calm down.
I can't do magic shit that you can't do. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Unless you mean like pushing a wheelchair effectively, but like
Mhm.
I think it came from a good place originally.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
but then it turned into sort of the inspo porn narrative, which is what tends to happen a lot with that kind of stuff. And I think the reason inspo porn stuff is still so prominent is because we there hasn't been enough breakthroughs in that sort of glass ceiling where it's normalized. So every time somebody that has a disability does something dope, they're like, "Oh, holy shit, that's incredible! Oh my God!" But in
Mhm.
reality, it's like there's probably 1,000 people like me that have just as many songs out or records out, or 1,000 people like Shane that are doing awesome shit in a great relationship and hilarious and trying to make good content, but it's a lot of it is luck and just like anybody else if they're trying to make their way.
I like Shane's the way that he's so committed to letting people know that like being disabled isn't a tragedy
Mhm.
Yeah.
and that it's not some like sad story, that it can be full of like joy.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I feel like the
absolutely.
tragedy is just people thinking it's a tragedy. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Damn, I love that.
Like, it's
That's
true.
excellent.
that's the
Put
real tragedy.
Yeah, the real
put
tragedy
that
is
on a shirt,
people
dude.
who think being disabled is a tragedy. Like,
Yeah.
the tragedy is just like the literal inaccessibility of how the system was created.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
the tragedy is the way that like it's not the disabled character in a TV show, but it's the way the disabled character is written in a TV
Yeah, it's
show.
the damn TV
Like,
show itself.
Me Before You.
Oh my God, I have a crazy story about that fucking movie, dude.
Really?
Yeah, all right. So, what year was it? I don't know. I was probably like 17 or something when that came out. Um, and I was, just vibing on Tinder or whatever, matched with this girl on Tinder. I was like, okay, cool. Like, she seems cute or whatever. Hell yeah. And then she's like, or I was like, you want to hang out? She's like, I'm busy, but I'm going to a movie with like some of my family. You can come if you want, and then we can like go hang out after. I was like, sure, man, whatever. Like, all right, bet. And so I go to this movie. She already bought the tickets. She's like, just meet me at the like theater
Oh
number or
God.
whatever. I was like, okay. And then it's that movie. And
No!
she didn't know.
No! Why? Oh God, sorry, that was loud, but that's
Oh
just
no, you're okay. She didn't know, and neither did anyone else that was at that movie, that I was gonna be like wheeling up in there, and I didn't like, I'm really like I'm not watching like cable TV or anything, and haven't for like a long, long time. I've always been kind of a YouTube boy, so I'm not really seeing like trailers for shit.
yeah.
But I have to sit through this entire movie. And then that motherfucker still, you know what? I don't even care if this spoils it because anyone that watches that movie, like, lame because why
Yeah.
give them any money? That dude still kills himself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, come on, the whole like romance that wasn't like cool enough for you. And like,
Yeah.
I get like, mental health obviously
Yeah.
very important,
Mm-hmm.
He's
but
not even the main character. His tragedy is her growth.
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So like, come
Like,
on. Or like Artie from Glee. That made my
oh yeah,
school years a living hell.
I
Um
bet.
I
because
never got into Glee. What was that
He
character?
was just kind of a little
Weird
pool of,
show.
I
it
don't even
was it
know.
was just
Weird
cringy.
drama. It was just cringy drama.
Yeah, that character, so I'm actually like gonna be doing a video on specifically Artie from Glee, and I'm gonna watch each episode first episode of each season and like talk about his like character growth. But first of all, it's just like this nerd that like gets bullied a lot and then can like sing, but then people still bully him, and then eventually he gets to date the cheerleader, which like slay, I guess, but also the cheerleader's so embarrassed that he's in a wheelchair, so she keeps it a secret. And that's a plot point. And then in one season, he gets, or like maybe it's just one episode, but he gets like bionic legs or like an
Oh,
exoskeleton, but
what?
not, yeah, not like a real one like how they actually exist, but like a fucking 80s robot looking one.
Mm.
And then he magically doesn't have them anymore. And then in the last season, they're like, hey, remember that time Artie had those like legs that made him walk? And they were like, yeah, that was weird, LOL, wasn't it?
Wait, this was
So
in
it was,
Glee?
yeah,
What the hell?
yeah, it really went off the rails after a while.
I feel like all I
Eh,
saw I've seen from Glee is just little Leah Michelle's little ballet routine.
that's actually, yes, that there's a lot of
Or
that.
it's like that song where it's like, what's that old like 80s song where it's like, turn around. Every now and then I get a lit. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, the one
Like
that they also
dancing.
the M&M commercial one.
Yeah. I'm like, what the hell?
Ah, damn M&Ms. M&Ms aren't fuckable anymore, man. Makes me so mad. They
What is
changed
that?
their
I don't know that commercial.
the it was one of the Christmas ones.
Poor
Huh.
Amber
I don't
Buckley. Was it she had to deal with so much racism on that show?
mm-hmm. And like that, it's just like stuff like that. It's like a lot of lazy writing.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
Now
true.
there are shows that are better now. Like I don't know if it's still running, but for a while there was like Speechless, which I think was on NBC, and Zach Anner wrote for that. But then like also on NBC at the same time was Superstore, which is about like
Oh yeah.
fucking people working at Walmart. And that dude in a wheelchair, much like
Yeah.
Artie, could walk in real life.
What the hell?
Yeah. So
That
like
was also with like what's that one show? Atypical, right? Like
I don't need another cis straight white man with autism. We have enough.
it's
yeah.
And everybody just thinks that you can't have it unless you're a little white man with an extreme comb over.
it's
Why is it always a
Extreme
comb
come
over?
over.
also how do you act like having a panic attack like on a bus? Do you remember that
Yeah.
time? Like you've never experienced having overstimulation in that type of environment, which can be super huge for somebody who actually has autism. Like buses can be a lot. So it's like that seems just so weird to me of like I
Oh
don't
yeah. I mean,
And
yeah,
also the fact that he stalks his therapist.
yeah, that's so weird. It's
really,
so
really
weird.
strange. I have not seen this show and now I don't want to.
Yeah, I used to like it because I thought his sister was like really attractive.
As she is.
Because Bridget Lundy Page is a
Oh,
sexy
There
mofo. But
you
like,
go.
yeah, that was the whole reason. But other than that, I was like, this is just a problem.
Did you guys like Love on the Spectrum?
See, okay,
yeah.
this is also about how Ash and I feel about these type of like shows. Same with like what is it? The Down for Love with the people with Down syndrome. I
Hmm.
think it just like really
Like
like it separates the like interabled couples. Like it doesn't show that. Like why aren't disabled people just on dating shows? Like
Yeah, like why are we not on Love Island
yeah,
or
I
MILF
can't
Manor?
you're
the
just saying like the
bachelorette.
everybody with SMA date somebody with SMA, or like people with epilepsy just date with people with epilepsy or cerebral palsy. I don't
Yeah.
know. We date with people who are not just their disability. Like,
Yeah. I get that question all the time. Like people seem surprised that like, my partner is able-bodied and like
yeah.
I've never dated somebody with a disability, not because I'm against it, but just because that's never been in the cards, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That the planets have not aligned in that way. Um, but like it's always so interesting where it's like, especially I think Love on the Spectrum specifically, because we watched both seasons of it,
Mm-hmm.
and there were some people on it that I was like really, really rooting for some folks.
Yeah.
Um, and but they tend to really try and like match like the disabilities.
Yep. They love to do that.
And I was like, but
I like that.
you're like slimming the field for them a little bit.
Yeah, right? Because then they're just like, oh, like you're only worthy of certain specific people who are
Yeah,
like you.
we
Like,
just need like really hot people that also have disabilities on like the already mainstream shows.
Yeah, like Love Island or like
Mm-hmm.
Naked and in Love. Isn't that
Mm-hmm.
another one? I
I
want to
thought
see
you were
a
gonna
little naked disabled person in the water, right? Being held by a
Yep.
bunch of other able-bodied people. That's what
Yep.
I want.
And not their therapists.
Yeah, not their therapist. No, not their caregiver. People tend
Right.
to be like, oh, is that your caregiver? No.
Yeah, like and that's another thing. It's like people like uh who was it? I mean, there's a couple different people that have like ended up marrying their caregivers or they're like that were their caregivers beforehand. Um, but that's like another thing when you're in an interabled relationship where
Mm-hmm.
like sometimes people just assume that my partner is my caregiver, and I'm like, nah, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, she does help me stretch every once in a while when my hamstrings are being a bit ridiculous, but like other than that, no, you know?
Even people who like are like in interabled couples and like are doing things, their partners, like there's still such thing as boundaries. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
really important to have in an interabled relationship because that person's like not going to be able to do everything for you. Like
yeah.
you need help. Like you
Just
communicate. You communicate. Yeah.
Just wait until we get like a bunch of like disabled polycules going, and then people will really, their minds will really like be blown.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Actually,
think the world's ready.
I'm in a polycule.
Oh, slay, hell yeah.
So people assume that Bella and I are dating all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Mhm.
best friends, we're roommates, we're business partners, and I'm
And
her.
we're married. I'm just kidding. That'd be so,
You
be so
But
gotta,
funny.
you
people
could if you didn't
always,
lose your benefits.
Yeah. No, exactly. Me and Ash talked about this all the time. How we're just probably gonna end up marrying each other. Like it's just gonna get down to that. I'm just gonna be
Mhm.
like, okay, yep, enough hiding. No, I'm just kidding.
almost like when people see like how um like close we are, it's like they can't fathom how we can possibly like care so much about each other and like do so much together without it being like romantic or
Yeah.
sexual.
Oh yeah.
Like they can't wrap their head around the fact that there's like nothing else going on.
Yeah, sometimes like people just like have compassion
Yeah.
and like imagine that, you
And
know?
also, we have 3 minutes until Zoom is gonna kick us out.
Oh shit.
So we should probably do our little outro.
Yeah.
Let's thank Teddy for being here at our little episode. Teddy, you want to drop your socials? Tell people how to find you? Spotify?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. You guys have been so kind and it's been so much fun. But for all the listeners out there, if you want to check me out, you can find me on the streaming services and on Instagram by searching Teddy Cosmo.
Yeah, and more information on your little video game too when that comes along. We're gonna
Yep.
advertise the shit out of it.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, we'll be ready for our next episode. I'm so bad
Yay.
at outros. Ash, do you have anything you want to say about this week?
Listen to Teddy's music. You're
Yeah.
so dope. We should like, even if it's not for Crypt Hard, like hang out again like this because this
Oh,
is
100%.
Yes.
a vibe.
Yes. This wasn't.
Yeah, we gotta name that group chat.
We did.
Yeah.
Also, hopefully, our like little clothing merch line will be doing something in the next 2 months. Like that's our goal. Like Ash looks nervous about that, but we're gonna try to make that happen.
I was just thinking, is our Crypt Hard playlist available yet?
Yeah, that also will be on Spotify and Apple Music by the time that this episode drops. So get excited about that. We're gonna try to make a new one every month. So yeah.
Yay.
Okay. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Have a good week and stay crippled.
Yeah, stay crippled.
Stay crippled. Okay, bye.